Hi, everybody. Hello, hello. Happy Sunday or Monday, depending on where you are. So feel free to chime in and let me know where you are. Yeah, so welcome back, everyone. I do know we have someone here from England, and it is 11 p.m. So thank you so much for joining, staying up so late to catch the reading. I really appreciate that. If you're on YouTube, you know, just down the street. Well, thank you for joining nonetheless, regardless of your geographic location. Good to have everyone. On YouTube, remember to log in if you would like to chat or ask a question. Otherwise, you don't have to log in. You can just stay the way you are and watch the video. So we're just past the hour, and I thought I would let a couple more people join before we get started. But how is everyone doing? How has May been treating everyone? We're moving into a little bit of a more active season in terms of astrology. So, you know, buckle down, buckle up. Sunny Indiana, greetings. Greetings. Greetings and thanks. That's a prayer calendar. I don't know if it's a calendar. It's a thing I have hanging on my wall over here. And it's greetings and thanks to each other as people. And it goes down the list. It's really beautiful. So let's get rolling with some cards. Last week I did a Sunday Synergy written reading. Greetings and thanks to you, Deborah. So if you were a subscriber of my newsletter, you got that. And Kim Elliott joining over here on YouTube. Hello. Yeah, so every now and again, I like to do writing just because I can sort of think and ponder a little bit differently, but also sometimes I just need to write instead of doing a live. So thanks for joining back today. Okay, so let's get rolling. What's going on this week? Well, this week we have the full moon in Sagittarius on Wednesday, the 26th. So, but it's at so for down under, it's probably Thursday. It's at 4:14 a.m. Pacific. Hey, Mia, thank you for joining. So adjust for your time. And then we have a lunar eclipse that happens 4:18 a.m. Pacific. So that's the full moon coming up, Sagittarius. Laurie and Daztez, hello, hello. So as we know, with full moon energy, that's all about endings, right? Oops. That's all about endings, right? It's about what are we moving away from? What are we releasing and letting go, right? That's really, we have revelations because we think about the light of the full moon is that it shines light on what is otherwise in the dark. It shines light on that shadow side. So we can see a lot in the full moon. We can get a lot of insight in the full moon. Having the full moon in Sagittarius, so Sagittarius rules belief systems. It rules religions, our sense of freedom. It's ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is about expansion. So in this full moon in Sagittarius, things that may be coming up for us, things that may have some light shining down on it, might be things that are of those themes. Laurie's saying she can't stay. Happy week, she's driving. Bye. Be careful. So pay attention to that. In this full moon, are things coming up for you that are in sort of those themes. And if they are, pay attention and maybe take a look at letting go of some of that stuff, which is embracing the full moon energy, which is a way that we can release and let go, right? So take a look at those things. The other thing that happened today is Saturn is retrograde. And Saturn is a very slow-moving planet. So Saturn will be retrograde until October, unlike Mercury retrograde, which is sort of like a 3-week thing, right? So Saturn has a lot to do with our boundaries, setting boundaries and sticking to our boundaries, not letting people push back against them and then caving to them. So again, take a look at that too. That can be challenging for some of us to hold our boundaries, but that's really what we're being asked to do. And then how does that play in this full moon? Is there some part of that that you maybe can let go of? You know, first of all, are you holding on to a boundary that really is old and is you just have it because you've always had it, but when you really stop and take that light of the full moon and look at it, it really isn't serving you anymore. Can you be free from that? On the other hand, is there a boundary that you need to be setting? Because as you're looking at things and you're saying, you know, my sense of freedom is not being honored here. I need to set a boundary. I need to put some things in place. So pay attention to that. So look at some of this stuff. You know, and again, because it's also eclipse season and the lunar eclipse is really taking a big light and shining it on that stuff that we oftentimes just keep working through. You know, it's like we just keep putting on the mud boots and going, but we never really put our feet in the mud to figure out what's really in there, right? So that's that. So let's get started. I thought I would work with Archangel Power Tarot for today because that is, I thought about holding, you know, personal power, empowerment, feeling our own power and believing in our power. And I thought that might be helpful for us with this week coming up. So as a reminder, I'm starting with general messages for the week ahead. These are general messages. Take them as they relate for you, what you find useful, what you find relevant. Take that message. And then I will pull cards for any questions and requests. So if you do have questions, then please hold on to them until after the general reading. I'm going to move my full moon notes, my little sage cauldron. And I've got my table loaded with clear quartz, by the way. I've got all kinds of clear quartz around here because it's a great stone for neutralizing negative energy and sort of bringing and balancing in so we can bring in that positive energy. So I've got it all over my table. Okay. Good morning to Sydney. All right. So let's get cards here for Monday and Tuesday. Monday and Tuesday. I have a card for Monday and Tuesday. Monday and Tuesday. Card for Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday and Thursday. And a card for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay, so again, I'm using Archangel Power Tarot. And here are our general readings, general messages. Monday, Tuesday. The Lovers. Ooh, Archangel Raphael. Make choices from your heart. Deeply emotional commitments, the power of love. So here you go, Instagram. For Monday and Tuesday, here you go, YouTube. We see the Lovers. So the Lovers can absolutely show up when it comes to relationships, for sure. A bigger theme about the Lovers is love and choice. So the words on this card is saying, make choices from your heart. And so the idea about that is making all of your choices from a place of self-love. And I know that self-love comes up a lot in my readings, right? I put a lot of that into my newsletter as well. And so the idea here is if you can come from a place of self-love in all of your actions and your decisions and the choices that you make, they will resonate. They will benefit because they're coming from that true place, right? If we're operating outside of the heart and making decisions, you know, from who knows, maybe from external influences, and this person thinks I should do this, and this person thinks I should do that, that's where we often find resistance. That's where things sometimes have to be done again because they're not exactly flowing the way we would want them to be. So beginning of the week, power of love, really honor yourself and make your decisions, make your choices from a place of self-love. Wednesday, Thursday, 5 of Raphael. Everything happens for a reason. Release regret and embrace the opportunities for happiness. Search for the silver lining. So in this deck, Raphael is cups, which is out of traditional tarot. So 5 of Raphael, 5 of cups right here. And in this card, we often say, you know, don't cry over spilt milk. So if you see this card in traditional tarot, there are cups that are spilled over and there are cups that are upright. And the figure on the card is looking at the spilled cups as if to say, you know, oh, look what happened versus, oh, but look at all of the possibility and the potential over here and the gifts that are here. So the middle of the week, if something comes up and it's disappointing to you, or it's not exactly what you were hoping for, take a moment and say, okay, maybe it is some spilled cups, but what in there can I work with? What can I find in there? Because that is the situation you've got. That's what you're dealt, right? So what are you going to do with it? And those are the cups that are upright. See what you can make of that situation and focus more on the potential versus what you may have thought you lost out on. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, strength, Archangel Ariel. Strength and grace through kindness, self-confidence, forgiveness. So forgiveness keeps coming up. I don't know if you all have been paying attention, but the last several, I don't know, I'll say the last month, 2 months, forgiveness comes up on quite a few cards. And I think it has a lot to do with us. It has a lot to do with us evolving and coming into our truer sense of self. And in order to do that, we really have to be graceful and forgive ourselves for any things that we self-criticize, right? Things that we look and say, gosh, I wished I had done that, and that was dumb. Like that kind of talk. We want to remove all of that. So here you have strength for Instagram, and then YouTube, here's your strength card. So also the strength card, this is about, well, let me point out one thing about this deck. Also in this deck, the author changes justice and strength. So in, like if you're using Rider-Waite, and in most other tarot decks, strength is number 8 and justice is 11. And this author changes that. So in case you're noticing number 11 and you're seeing strength and you're scratching your head, that's why. But strength is about saying, let me calm that ego part of me, which is the lion on the card, right? Let me calm that part. Let me quiet that part a little bit so I can hear what really I need to be doing. So I can really connect to my heart. So I really can make my choices from a place of self-love versus from the ego, which is conditioning, teaching, learning, habitual, all of that stuff, right? So that's the strength card. So we've got the 3 cards for the week. We have major arcana sandwiching the 5 of cups which is sort of saying, what's your perspective going to be? How are you going to be looking at things? Can you see the potential and can you do something with that? And if you make choices from a place of your heart and you quiet that ego a little bit, then you can, in fact, see what there is out here for you in the middle of the week. So those are the messages for this week. That is the week of, 24. So the 24th through the 30th. Whew, that was tough. Okay. Let's get to cards. So if anyone has a question or a card request, feel free to put it in the chat. I know some of you have been putting some things in the chat and I don't get to catch it during the reading. So if there's something in there, feel free to write it again and on Instagram, and I'll be more likely to catch it now. Cathy, major arcana has been pretty consistent for us. Yeah. Yes, and there's only 22 major arcana out of 78 cards. So out of 3, we have 2 major arcana. And like I said, big thing, like there's a lot of movement, right? It's happening. I know I say this all the time, but it is true. Okay, so Boo and Buster, internet playing up, but I'd love a card for the week, please. Yes. So Boo and Buster, Tez has requested a card. Eduarda has requested a card. Alice has requested a card. Okay. Deborah has requested a card. Okay, let's start with Boo and Buster. So a card for Boo and Buster. I'm going to Star Tarot, and I'm going to tell you I don't use this deck a whole lot outside of my own readings. I know I've been introducing, well, there you go. I've been introducing some decks to you that I usually use for my own readings, but I've been wanting to integrate some of them. So Star Tarot is one of them. So Boo and Buster, your card is Death card. So let's take a look and let's understand. Here you go, Instagram. Let's understand what the Death card is. First of all, it's number 13 in tarot. And this is all about transformation. And you can see the phoenix here rising up from ashes. So this is about transformation. This is about really letting ego-based stuff drop and moving forward in your journey, moving toward your higher purpose. That's what this is. So when we talk about the Death card, we're just saying a part of our ego needs to die off, we're well on the journey when you get to the Death card. You're well on that path. This isn't something new, but this is, in order to keep moving, we have to allow that to happen. Okay, so Tez asked for a card also. Tez, I'm going to Romance Angels for you. Not 100% sure why, but that's where I'm going. Make sure I have it up right. So if we can have a card for Tez. Card for Tez. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Finances and career. Financial issues are a factor in your love life right now. So I use Romance Angels. Here you go. I use Romance Angels 2 different ways. I use them for people who are asking about relationships, but I also use it for relationship with self, like how can we foster some more romance in our life with ourselves. So Tez, financial issues are a factor in your love life right now. So whether it's your relationship or a relationship that you have where some finances, some questions, or even choices of career or movement or, you know, what is it that you're being called to do, whether that's coming up. Or if it's just something that really is like on your mind 24/7, that would sort of be like why that's coming up in a romance angel type of thing. So is that what's going on? Is that what you need to be considering? But that's coming up. That's around. It's a factor. And so go back to the messages for the week. It is. Okay. Yeah. So go back to the messages for the week, making choices from self-love, seeing all potential that's available, and being strong in your belief in yourself to move in the direction you want to move. Okay, Eduarda asked for a card, and then we're coming over here to Alice and Deborah. So Eduarda, I'd love a card for the week. Okay. Let's go to, I think I'm going to the Soul's Journey here. Okay. The Soul's Journey, if we can have a card for Eduarda. Also does, Tez, for this card right here, finances and career, make sure that whatever, coming back to sort of what we were talking about, boundaries, make sure that you are putting the boundaries in place that you need and honoring them in that realm. So if you need to be asking for something, if you need to make a decision to say no to something, check your boundaries there. Okay, so coming back here, you're welcome, to Eduarda. We've got Judgment that hopped out here. Understand that everyone has their own unique path and challenges. There you go. And coming to YouTube, Judgment. So understanding that everyone has their own unique path and judgment and challenges. Everyone has their own judgment. We all do. Human nature, we tend to do that. So the message coming out here is maybe if you find yourself having a particular reaction to something this week, or you know, you're being asked to do something, maybe step back a little bit and think about it in a more open mind space versus coming at it from maybe something that you typically have in the past. Also, cutting people some slack. That message has been coming up for me a lot lately, cutting people slack, because everyone's got a whole bunch of stuff going on right now, and where we can be very quick to make decisions or make judgments or criticisms or thoughts about someone, right? So, so yeah, I would say maybe you may be having an opportunity this week to really express compassion. That's sort of what I'm getting here. Is there's an opportunity that's going to present itself to you where you're going to have a choice, and the choice is to make judgment or to express compassion and show compassion for someone that probably doesn't operate the same way you do. That's what I've got. Okay, coming over here to Alice. Thank you so much. May I have a card about redirection? I guess it's always about flowing with what comes in. It's about the 5 of Cups, 5 of Raphael, right? But a card about redirection. Redirection. Alice, I'm going to Star Tarot. So let's get a card for Alice for redirection. Redirection. Nope. A card for Alice. Redirection. These cards have some serious high gloss on them, so they really stick together. Eduarda, you are welcome. Okay. So, redirection. The moon. Here we go. The moon. Here you go, Instagram. This is the card for Alice for redirection. So first of all, you see a path here, right? This is your path. Can you follow it in the direction that you really feel guided to go, that you know you need to go in? Not like what you think, what you've been told, none of that. Can you really go there? The moon, we also, as we talked about, we're coming into that full moon, we're talking about, and as you can see here, you see a little crustacean right here. Can you see that coming up out of the water? So what that is like, that's that stuff way deep down inside that's coming to the surface under the light of that moon that wants to be seen. And when that can come up, then you can start integrating it into your life, integrating it into who you really are. And you see here, we have, I'm going to try to point to it correctly. We have a wild and a tame dogs, right? Here you go, Instagram. Those represent all sides of us. So if we can bring that stuff up and integrate it into all of us, because it is part of us, it is who we are, right? Then we can follow that path. So when you're talking about redirection, and here's that path and look where it's headed, right? So the redirection is honoring all sides of you, because if you're only working with one part of you, you're leaving out the rest. And how can you follow that path? How would you even know what that path is when you're leaving out that other side of you? So the other thing about the moon too is it's real dream time energy. So pay attention to your dreams. A lot of us have very vivid dreams around the full moon, right? So pay attention to your dreams. And there are messages that may be coming there. And I was told something in a session I did with someone recently, and I love this. I love this. And I have extremely vivid dreams. And I know there's someone on here who hears some of my dreams, and I say thank you for listening. So I was talking about my dream, and the way he explained to me was, when you get up in the morning, rather than journaling, he said, take crayons or colored pencils or whatever you have, and draw the images of your dream. He said, because your dreams are your unconscious, and your unconscious doesn't speak English. It doesn't speak in words, right? It's images. It's how we communicate. So if we draw what we saw in our dream, we are then communicating back to the unconscious as if to say, yes, I heard you. Yes, I understand. And please continue to communicate with me in this way. And I just loved that suggestion. So anyhow, Alice, going back to moon, is pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to what's coming up in the moments where you are inactive, when you're still, or when you're not too operating from the head. Pay attention to the little messages that pop in. That's your redirection. That was a long explanation, wasn't it? Okay, Deborah, card request. Yes, I'm going with Oracle of the Fairies for you, Deborah. Okay, card for Deborah. This makes so much sense. My moon is in Cancer, okay, and I'm feeling all sorts of things right now. It's so poignant. Also, shadows make it harder to see. Yes to those vivid dreams right now. Yeah, so moon in Cancer, right? I mean, her little homebody. But yeah, feeling all sorts of things right now and probably for a while to come. Yeah, but the shadow part of us is so good. It's so juicy because if you think about your evolution here on this planet, right? This lifetime, your movement through this lifetime. Think about that. Think about everything you've done with your life so far, all the choices you've made. It's pretty remarkable, right? Like, bravo. We've done a lot. We've been through a lot. So that shadow side of us is just another part of that really rich experience of our life that we just haven't spent a whole lot of time looking at. But if we can bring that up, my goodness, what it can bring to the recipe, right? It's like that umami flavor in cooking, you know, that other thing that we just need outside of salt and sugar and spice. So that's what the shadow is. So if we can really dive in there, it's tremendous. I mean, hey, I'm not saying it's not going to be ugly, and I'm not saying it might not be a little scary for a while. That's not what I'm saying. But we know what it is. We know it's part of us. So what on earth is there to be scared of? Okay, let's get to Deborah, who's traveling. Let's get a card for Deborah. Card for Deborah. A card for Deborah. Card for Deborah. Come together. Fairies like to be busy, and a group of them is showing you that many hands make light work. Working as a team helps get the job done. I love the images on this card. And it's got some bees on here. Here you go. Take a look at that. Really nice. Here you go, Instagram. So Deborah, if I remember correctly, some things that have come up for you somewhat recently, maybe working as a team, bringing family together, relying upon other people a little bit, maybe. Everybody has their role. Everybody has something to do. And you don't have to do all of it. And of course, if everyone works together, then no one's really carrying a bulk of the burden, right? So I would say whatever's maybe going on, you know, think about, can you share some of that load with other people? Can you ask for help? And also coming back to that boundary thing that we talked about at the beginning is, are you being overburdened? Is too much being put upon you? And do you need to set some boundaries and say, hold on, I can only do so much. I need other people. I need the team. Okay. Coming to Cathy, along with morning pages, the drawings of dreams will be a nice accompaniment, except I'm not much of a dreamer. What do you mean by morning pages? Do you mean newspapers? Yeah, but maybe if you start dipping into drawing, then maybe the dream comes up. Alice, I love that analogy, the umami of our spiritual journey. That's pretty good, wasn't it? Deborah, you are welcome. Okay, coming back here. Rising vibes at a stoplight. Still listening. Thanks in advance. So let's get a card for rising vibes. Let's get a card for rising vibes. Julia Cameron's Artist Creativity Outlet. I am not familiar with that, but it sounds like a good way to start the morning. Okay, let's get a card for rising vibes. think I'm going to Angel Answers, Rising Vibes. Don't know what the question is, but let's see what the cards have in response. We have a card for Rising Vibes. I will say we've had 2 people driving and someone traveling. So I can't tell you how honored I feel that while you all are doing other things, you're still tuning into this reading. So thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Okay, a card, but please be safe. A card for Rising Vibes. Peaceful resolution. If you're driving and you can't look at Instagram, you'll see it when you hit the replay or when you come over to YouTube. I know you delve into both worlds here. Peaceful resolution, Rising Vibes. So whatever it is that you're working with, whatever's coming up, keep that heart open to what that peaceful resolution may be. Keep it open to all possibility rather than being fixed on what it is you really need something to be. I mean, we can have what our goal is, right? We can say this is what I want to achieve, but we really work well in allowing that to sort of flow. And again, going back to the general reading, if we allow it to flow and we operate from that place of self-love, the potential, we don't overlook things because we're so focused on what isn't appearing the way we want it to appear. We overlook what the potential is there. And then we fear that maybe things aren't working out. And then we start going down the ego-based thinking, right? Versus coming from a place of strength. So with that peaceful resolution, I would say take those weekly messages into account also. And then I'd go to all of the other messages on this deck, on this table, which is judgment, releasing any judgment about a situation. Finances and career, having good boundaries around that, come together, realizing that you may need to be calling people in to help, right? And then we have death and the moon. So major arcana. Cathy, you were talking about major arcana showing up. These are 2 more major arcana showing up. So transformation and integration. And that's where we come to that place of a real peaceful resolution. But all those pieces really have to come together. So this card was fantastic for tying in all of the cards on the table. Okay. All right. Brain dump journaling each morning. Yeah. Dump all that stuff out. It really can have you running around in circles. Yes, Boom Buster, great cards for this week. I loved it. So that's what I have for everybody for this week. Again, we have the full moon on Wednesday or Thursday. Depending on where you are. But for most of us, it's probably going to be on Wednesday because it's at 4:14 Pacific, so AM. So for most of us, it's probably going to be on Wednesday. Pay attention there, see what's coming up in terms of your belief systems. That's really huge. And I think it goes back to the judgment card and compassion, right? Pay attention there. Pay attention to your sense of freedom. Do you feel like you are here being who you are here to really be? Can you be free in that expression? And if not, take a look at the things that are in your way. Okay. That's what I've got. So for my newsletter subscribers, I sent out a newsletter this morning, just, a little something in there. So hope you could have a look at that. If you're not subscribed, please feel free to subscribe. You'll find the link in bio on Instagram, down below on YouTube. You're welcome, Kim. Kim, great cards and reading. Thank you. You're welcome. Big love back to you. Yes. Wonderful cards, lots of major arcana. I said at the beginning here, there's a lot coming up right now through June. Lots and lots of energy here. So this is where these major arcana cards are coming in, and they're big cards. They're big cards. So yeah, let's do it. You're welcome, Alice. It's nice to take these messages into our week. You've all brought some high vibes to my Monday morning. Fabulous. Yes, I think everybody here brings in the vibes. That's what I like so much. So I'm glad we could share that. And of course, as always, if you want your own reading, let me know. Get in touch. Let's book it. Let's do something. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful week. And I will see you next time. So thanks so much for joining. Be well. Bye. Bye to Instagram first. Bye, YouTube. Good to see you all again. Namaste.